Wait, it's recording. Yeah. Okay, everybody. The recording is paused. I'm going to start the recording. This is Nikki Burnett and Gabrielle Grandel, and we are Functional Friday, which is supposed to happen the first Friday of the month, but I was out of town because it was Labor Day, so it was a holiday, and went to Zion, which was amazing. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So we are going to try to be brief with this and get as much information to you as we can. This is our third discussion on SIBO. And Gabrielle, do you want to run with it?
Yeah. So hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. So my name is Gabrielle Grandel. We are both functional nutritionists, and we want to come on the first Fridays of each month at 12 o'clock Central Time and 11 o'clock Mountain Time. And we want to share information about functional nutrition, wellness, health. We want to empower you. And we want you to know that this is not medical advice, that we are recommending these things as a form of education and knowledge and just sharing what we know and what has worked for our clients.
Yeah.
So just like Nikki said, SIBO is something we've been talking about for a while. It stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And if you have any questions, we invite you to go back and look at the last two Functional Friday videos that we've done all about this topic. But we chose to continue talking about it because it's so prevalent and there's so many different symptoms and conditions that are tied with it that people don't recognize the connection. And so we wanted to just kind of bring in, some of this, not let it be so elusive and kind of illuminate a little bit more about the connection. So.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that there's so much going on, and there are things that a lot of people don't realize, just because you can have SIBO and it's presenting in a way that you totally don't expect. It may not be gut dysfunction, and it usually is, but it can lead to other things, and it can start in all different ways. It can start from food poisoning, it can start from antibiotics, and so there are multiple ways that it can begin, and it can be pretty nasty. And so making sure that once you learn what you're dealing with, finding somebody who knows what they're doing to help you deal with it. Yeah. And so we were discussing some of the interesting conditions that tend to rise up from someone having SIBO. And a lot of times it's autoimmune disease.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of folks don't realize that all autoimmunity is as a result of a unhealthy GI tract or unhealthy gut.
Right. Yeah. So having any kind of microbial imbalance is not a good thing, but SIBO, it's creating an inflammatory response, which is an immune response, which probably is going to create or it has the potential of creating leaky gut, which then has the potential of creating dis-ease, right? So dis-ease, symptoms, inflammation, pain, foggy brain, fatigue, all kinds of different things. Then, of course, leading to, when we just talked about autoimmune diseases, like it can be Crohn's disease, it can be scleroderma, it can be Hashimoto's, you name it. It can lead to any of these and other autoimmune conditions.
Mm-hmm. And other things that are not autoimmune either that you might not, recognize. And so a couple other things that you didn't mention, that are not in that category would be like kidney failure or diabetes. So it's just very connected to a lot of challenges that folks are having.
Yeah, one that I find interesting is the pancreatic insufficiency. What makes me laugh out loud is pancreatic insufficiency is now a condition in the medical world, and so they have drugs for it. I'm like, really? Let's support the pancreas and get rid of SIBO or whatever other things you might be dealing with. But I hear these commercials going, you might have pancreatic insufficiency. I'm like, yeah, lots of people do.
Right. It's probably not the answer to take this pill, but
Yeah.
figure out why.
Yeah. So understanding, when you're not digesting your food properly, or when you're having any kind of signs or symptom pain, I listed a bunch of them earlier, but understanding that this is your body talking to you. It's hit a point to where it's like, I can't do this on my own anymore, and I need you to pay attention to me and start to help me fix this problem. Because in most cases, they don't just go away on their own. So, again, going back to this is probably not something to try on your own. There's so much involvement in it, and it can be, it can be under certain conditions. It can continue to come back. So understanding where you are with it and how to continue to work with it for a lifetime. I mean, and not that you'll have it for a lifetime, but understanding that the potential is there and recognizing it and taking care of yourself throughout that lifetime so it doesn't come back, because you don't want it to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And you want to be able to thrive and have a vital life, feel good.
Yeah. There are a couple of other ones. So rosacea is an interesting one. Lots of people with rosacea. And so that's an interesting one that could be caused from SIBO. Restless leg syndrome can be caused from SIBO. That's a tough one. People have a really hard time with restless leg syndrome, and it's not typically as simple as just taking magnesium or something. There's something else going on there. And it could be SIBO, could be other things. That's why you gotta dig, right? That's why we do the functional lab testing, so we can understand the body and understand what's going on and why these things are happening.
Yeah, and it just, it just references that the health of the gut is absolutely vital and critical to the overall health of the body. And you hear us say this all the time, but this is just another example. The restless leg, where is it coming from? If we didn't look at the health of the gut or understand more about that, we might miss it, and we may be chasing that. And so much of these different conditions are as a result of SIBO or unhealthy gut, if we're not absorbing and utilizing our nutrients there, that then leads to some of these things. And so, so again, we also kind of wanted to talk about some other, to your point, Nikki, just about that you may be having something happen. You may be having a symptom that's correlated and just not recognize that it's correlated. And so we were going to talk about a few kind of things that if you try these things, if you are experimenting, we do recommend that you work with somebody that's knowledgeable. But if you are experimenting on your own and you try these things and something gets worse, or it doesn't go in the direction that you had intended, it's likely because there's SIBO present.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you want to talk about some of those things, Nikki?
Well, one of the things, and I think that we covered it, and I hope that I'm on the right track with you, but if you're experimenting on your own, and I do this in practice, I do this with my clients to understand, based on their symptoms, if they're dealing with SIBO. And really my go-to is doing a low FODMAP. Now, I want to be really, really clear, because low FODMAP has kind of become a fad and kind of become the thing to do. Whereas high FODMAP foods are healthy foods for the most part. They're foods that we want in our diet. They feed our bacteria, but what's happening is they're feeding at the bacteria that's in the wrong place. And so if you're questioning what I'm talking about, again, go back and listen to the first two videos. But the bacteria in the wrong place. And so that's what creates the discomfort and the bloating and the inflammation and that kind of thing, because these high FODMAP foods, high FODMAP being an acronym for different types of starches. And so if you go on a low FODMAP diet because the high FODMAPs are bothering you, then there's a pretty good chance that what you're dealing with is SIBO. So that's a really good way, of kind of, I don't know, self-diagnosing maybe. I mean, you still want to ensure that that's what you're dealing with, but But it's not a diet you want to remain on. You know, I can consider it a therapeutic diet. You know, diets to me are therapeutic. You know, we have a lifestyle and then we have therapeutic diets.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And so a therapeutic diet like low FODMAP is good for a period of time, but it's not going to make the condition better. It makes the symptoms better, but it won't make the condition better. So you still have to address the bacteria that's in the wrong place, or it's not going to get better and the symptoms will continue. And we want you to have those high FODMAP foods because they're important foods.
Mm-hmm. Right. So an example, you know, in your example, introducing more fiber or introducing, you know, different types of vegetables and fruits and beans and things like that, introducing them, but then you feel worse as a result of doing that is a pretty good inclination that you have overgrowth. Or if you start taking probiotics or eating fermented foods, you know, which is helpful for a lot of folks, but you have overgrowth, you're going to feel worse. So that's another, you know, red flag or a sign. Or if you take antibiotics and you feel better, because you've actually killed off some of that overgrowth that was present. So, you know, so those are a few things. You know, you've gone gluten-free and that hasn't helped your situation, likely because it needs more effort, you know, more targeted focus with that. So
yeah, all good points. So I think unless you have more, we're kind of to a point to where we should start to wrap it up. Do you want to add anything to it?
I want to say weight and brain fog are also two really big ones that are tied with overgrowth that you would not maybe think about that connection at all. But it's very hard to shake your brain fog or very hard to lose weight if you've got this going on and you've not gone after it.
No fun.
So we just want to thank you for listening. And as always, you know, if there's anything that you want us to speak about or questions that you have, we are here to serve and to offer education and guidance and help and support with whatever you want to learn about and whatever you want to know about. That's kind of our goal with this.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. I know that we can't just do this being on Zoom. We're unable to see comments and that kind of thing below, but we go back and we look at them. So if you have thoughts, ideas, questions about anything, you know, we want to talk about what you want us to talk about. You know, we'll talk about all kinds of stuff all the time, but we want to make sure it's stuff that you want to hear. So thank you. We're grateful for you listening. We hope that if SIBO is something that you're dealing with, that this gives you a little bit of guidance and can kind of help you start to manage it a bit. And so, Gabrielle, where can you be found?
So you can find me at livingwelldallas.com. The phone number there is 972-930-0260. And on social media under Gabrielle Grandel. And I have several videos on YouTube if you would like to subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, perfect. So same here. So Nikki at tastelifenutrition.com. The website's Taste Life Nutrition, all the social media, including YouTube. I've got lots of videos there as well, all Taste Life Nutrition. So reach out, let us know what you need. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Gabrielle. And we'll see you. Hopefully it's going to be the first Friday of next month.
Hope to see you then. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.